Here's an easy strum version of Blue Sky.
Just keeps on flowing. They don't work.
We're going to go through all the chord changes, and then I'll just show you how to kind of strum through this in a really basic way. We're in the key of E, and our main chord here is a big old open E major chord. Other chords we have are an A chord. Now you'll see me most often, this is kind of the traditional fingering, scrunching all 3 fingers, 1, 2, and 3 in there. Oftentimes you'll see me use my first finger to bar those 3 strings. And that's just an easy thing for me to grab. It's the kind of thing that if you don't quite have this yet, you know, use the standard fingering or this fingering. Lots of different ways to finger an A chord. We have a B chord. Now this is a bar chord. First finger is barring the 2nd fret completely. 3rd finger kind of does a half bar over the D, G, and B strings. If you're holding this down really precisely, you'll hear that high E ringing from the 2nd fret where you're barring it. But if you're in doubt, just strum up to the B string. You don't need that high note necessarily, okay? Other chords, we have this neat little version of an F sharp minor. Now this is a unique chord, and this is a substitute for an F sharp minor bar chord. It only happens a couple times in the song, and it's pretty easy to grab. First finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, 4th finger on the 4th fret of the D string, 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the A string. Leave the open low E string out of it. Okay. And then the other missing chord is a D chord. And that again only happens a couple times. So let's take it from the intro. We're starting with 2 strums on an E chord, 2 strums on an A chord, and then a quick A back to E, and again E, A, and E, and then 2 strums on an E, 2 strums on a D, 2 strums on an A, and then you strum the E and let it ring. So that's the intro. Da, 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 do, 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 do. Moving on to the verse. E chord, B chord, A, back to E. 2 strums each. Again, E, B, hold the A, 4 more, then the little lick in the middle of the 2 verses where we've got a E, 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 and B, and A. Okay? Then another verse. E, B, A, E. Early morning sunshine, tell me all I need to know. Then we've got E, and then A, and then here comes the chorus to a B chord. B, A, E, E, and A. Again, B, B, A, E, back to A, 2 A's, A, and then there's that little variation on the F sharp minor. And you strum that, let it ring, and then we're into the long section of guitar solos, about 4 minutes almost of guitar solos. Now the guitar solos are just an E chord and an A chord all the way through. 4 strums each. E, A, all the way. And this is a great place to start playing around with strum patterns. You can Do a basic down up. So that's a very basic division of the beat, just doing a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Of course, there's lots of variations you can do just with that division of the beat. Those are just a couple. Eventually, you're going to be working your way up to the actual rhythm strum, which we'll talk about in this series here. And that's a much busier version of this. It's not a basic 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're going to subdivide the beat now into 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and. So when you're ready and you're getting into that style of a strum, we're actually going to be moving our hand twice as fast, like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'd encourage you to try that, just a basic double time down strum, because from there you can get into this groovy subdivision of the beat that is actually happening on the performance, which is something like. So that starts with. Slow that down a little bit. If I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now I'll incorporate upstrokes. 1 and a 2 and a 3. Then you syncopate it. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So lots of things you can do there rhythmically. We'll get into more detail when we go over the actual acoustic guitar strum from this song. So after the several minutes of guitar solos on that E chord and A chord, we get into, you'll hear the lead guitars doing the that signature lick that is cueing the end of the solo. And so when you hear that, you're going to know, okay, the end of the solo is coming up, and you're doing your. And then when it ends, you stop on an E chord. B, A. Just like the lick in between the first verse and second verse. And then you're on the last verse and chorus of the song. So here's the last verse. Good old Sunday morning, bells are ringing everywhere. Gone to Carolina, won't be long and I'll be there. And then here's the lick. E, 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 and A, A, A. And then the chorus, B. You're my A, A, E, E, A, B, A, A, E, E, A, A, and then the F sharp minor variation. A, and then just like the intro. A, and E, and then E, D, A, hold it twice as long, and then E. So at the very last lick, it's just like the intro, but it holds that A chord twice as long. And the pause at the end of the chorus also goes twice as long. Turn your love my way. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and play along with the band on the pre-recorded track.
That's all for this session. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell for more lessons in the future. Make sure you check out the other lessons on our channel, and don't forget to head over to TrueFire.com for the full experience. We have synchronized tabs, jam tracks, and a massive library of courses covering all topics a guitarist could ever want to learn. Until next time.